Hello, I'm back, and for those of you who don't know, I've been away, busy getting married and going on honeymoons and all that kind of stuff. And yes, I'm sorry, ladies, that means my missus put a ring on it. I'm off the market, really sorry. But welcome to Ask Coach Cam. For those of you who've not seen this before, this is basically where I answer your burning fat loss questions, okay? I take them earlier in the week, take them off my website, via my social media pages, everything like that, and I either answer them directly or I create a theme and we come up to the whiteboard and we try and answer as many of those questions as possible with one answer, okay? So while I was away and sort of this week, I had quite a lot of people talk to me about motivation, okay? I want to do this, but I just don't quite have the motivation. I want to do that, but I don't quite have the motivation. I just can't do it. I can't seem to do it. I've got all these goals, but I just can't seem to do it, okay? And this is a very common question I get. I get it all the time. And first of all, okay, I've actually already done an episode on this. It's called Motivation is Bullshit. I believe it's episode 6. If you want to check out that in the kind of Ask Coach Cam library. You can see there one angle I've kind of taken on it before where we talk about motivation as well, all these kind of things, and ultimately deciding whether motivation is a useful term even to use when what we're really talking about is behavior change. We're talking about long-term behavior change. How do we do that? Which sort of leads me on to today, really. And I want to take a different angle from what I did last time. And that's using the foremost theory, okay, when it comes to behavior change. Is prevailing theory amongst psychologists. And it really is an umbrella term for a lot of things, but it's cognitive behavioral therapy or theory. Okay? And this is essentially almost a, what do you call it, a rebuke to Freud. So you remember Freud, that guy, that psychologist, okay? And he's the guy, sons want to do their mothers and kill their fathers, all of that kind of stuff. And also came up with the theory, kind of repressed feelings. If we get people to talk about their repressed feelings and all that kind of stuff, get them to bring it up, we'll unlock some kind of secret, and we scratch away at that, and we can find what's really irking people and causing them to behave in a certain way. This is kind of a rebuke to that, okay? This is kind of, no, actually, if we keep talking about negative feelings, we're just going to reinforce negative behaviors and negative thoughts, okay? So going, these psychologists who go over and over about trauma, things like that, it's actually not the working theory now is that's actually not that helpful. We actually just need to think more positive, feel more positive, and behave more positively, and that's what actually gets us out of that spiral and gets us living more positively, okay? So using all those terms I've just used there, we have the cognitive behavioral triangle, okay? And this has got, so let's draw a triangle first, okay? So essentially we've got 3 elements. They're all linked here by these lines, okay? And we've got thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Okay? And these lines linking them, they go both ways, okay? So they go up and down. Up and down, okay? Up and down. They go across. All right? Okay? So what does this mean? What's this showing? Okay, what this is showing is our thoughts, the things we think about ourselves, the thing we think about others, is dictated or influenced by both our feelings and our behaviors, okay? And the same goes for each one of these. Our feelings are influenced by our thoughts and behaviors. Our behaviors are influenced by our thoughts and feelings, okay? And when it comes to fat loss, obviously we want to behave in a healthy way. So we kind of want to focus in on this. We want to change our behaviors. What changes our behaviors? Thoughts and feelings. Now for me, where my personal take starts to come in on this is I find that the hardest thing to change on this triangle is feelings, okay? Feelings is often we go into an environment, we go somewhere, take example of a scary movie, you know, we've got all the scary music, things like that. It's hard to not feel a little bit scared, okay? It's hard not to let that heart rate go up. I feel like we have a little bit less control over this, at least in the short term, okay? So we're talking short term right now. Can we influence our feelings? I feel like that's a bit harder, okay? When it comes to thoughts, how much influence do we have over that? Quite a bit, okay? When we're talking about thoughts, we're talking about perspective. We're talking about positive thinking, positive talk, self-talk, all that kind of stuff. We can influence thoughts to quite a heavy degree. However, when we get to behaviors, okay, I think this is the easiest kind of place to start, okay, simply because there's an element of kind of fake it till you make it with behaviors. Even if we don't think and feel like we're a healthy person, okay, we can change some of our behaviors, we can fake it, we can pretend, humans, we're very capable of that, okay, we're very capable of playing pretend, and we can pretend to be a healthy person for a while, but in doing that, we're going to influence our thoughts and feelings over time, and we're going to start to think and feel more like a healthy person, okay? But what all of this comes down to, and what they all do, is they change our core beliefs, okay? I hope you can read this. My pen is running out a bit here. Okay, and these are, I don't think I spelled that right. These are things that we kind of believe about ourselves, about others, about the world, about all this kind of stuff, okay? So if we're going to change our core beliefs, really we need to change all these elements of the triangle, okay? And those core beliefs, I like to imagine them as more kind of hardwired into the brain, okay? And what we've got to do through using this behavior change model, okay, because that's all it is, it's just a model. By using this behavior change model, we can then start to change our core beliefs, okay? So what does this mean in the real world, okay? We might believe we're an unhealthy person, okay? We might believe that we're addicted to fast food, okay? Things like that. We might harbor all these beliefs. And if we take kind of fast food as an example, and we'll kind of go through that on here, okay? So what we do is we have a big order at a fast food chain, okay? I won't mention any, I'll try not to. At a fast food chain, we kind of get a big order, a bit bigger than what we need, okay? Just because our eyes are bigger than our belly, and we fancy some of the foods on the menu, okay? So we do that, we get a big order, okay? Once we've finished that meal, okay, we start to feel bloated, okay? We start to feel sluggish, we start to feel bad about ourselves, we regret doing it, buyer's remorse, okay? And we start to get all these feelings. And then we start to think negative things about ourselves, okay? We start to think, oh, I've got no self-control, I'm an awful person, I deserve to be fat, all these kind of things, okay? So you can see how one action there has created these kind of negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts aren't that helpful, okay? If we're going through this model, okay, we can see that those negative thoughts are going to cause more negative feelings, okay? So it's not just the initial negative feelings, it's causing more negative feelings, and it's going to cause more negative behaviors as well, okay? So we're just going to go and get more fast food. Well, what's the point? I might as well eat as much fast food as I want because I'm terrible and I'm awful. I'm going to have, 10 pizzas. Why not? Okay? So there's kind of a negative spiral element to it. And this is why I brought up Freud, okay? When we just keep going around this negative spiral and we keep telling people, oh, I'm just such a terrible person, I'm such a fatty or whatever, I've got no self-control, all this, all of that, all these negative things about ourselves, okay? That's not helping either, okay? When you talk to people in that kind of way and you say negative things about yourself, you're just reinforcing this triangle, okay? And we know this to a certain degree. That's not to say don't reach out to people, okay, and talk to people. I'll go through this at another time, but what we might want to do is go through that conversation with other people in a more positive framework. And if people are approaching you, again, you can use a more positive framework to sort of discuss these thoughts and feelings that people are having about themselves. So that's kind of the negative spiral. And again, these negative thoughts about ourselves, they essentially become a self-fulfilling prophecy when we go round and round, okay? We go through a negative spiral, and then we do become fat, and we do become sluggish, and we do move less, and we do all these things, and it just continues and continues and continues, okay? That's the negative side. What if we could harbour that for the positive, okay? The big problem here is, and it's the problem with a lot of things, everyone tries to do it overnight, okay? Everyone wants an overnight solution. Everyone wants to wake up the next day and be like, yeah, I'm so motivated. I'm going to go attack the world. It's going to be great, okay? Well, sorry, but rubbish, because you've got years, months, days, day after day of negative behaviors, thoughts, and feelings, okay? And they have reinforced your core beliefs. What we're talking about here is long term. We're rewiring the brain, okay? And when you're talking about rewiring the brain, okay, we have to start thinking in the longer term, okay? We have to start thinking about how do we slowly change these thoughts and feelings? How do we reinforce that? And one of the big ones, what colour shall I? Let's go for blue and see how that's doing, okay? One of the ways to do that is habits, okay? Okay, this is why I talk so much about habits. Habits, we're actually removing some of this, okay? We're removing some of the thoughts and feelings about ourselves by making the process automatic, okay? Stop thinking of habits as going to the gym 3 times a week. That's not a habit, that's a goal / an action, okay? A habit is something that's almost automatic, okay? Smokers barely think, okay? They don't think, ooh, I'm going to go have a cigarette. They're outside and they have a cigarette, okay? People who pick their nose, nail biters, all this kind of stuff, all those are seen as habits, okay? Again, they're negative habits. We have a fixation on the negative in the human experience, okay? But if we think about those negative examples and we're familiar with those, we can see how they're much more automatic, okay? So it's habits, but how do we reinforce habits? We go small. Why do we go small? Because we want consistency. Okay, so when I talk small, I'm talking eat an apple every day. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff, okay? You can do whatever you want the rest of the meals. Eat an apple every day. Just do that, okay? Try that. Go for consistency. Go for 100%. And when I say 100%, I'm talking 100%, okay? It's got to be so easy that you can do it every day, all right? Because that's the key to making it automatic, okay? Especially if we're using a cue to eat an apple every day, okay? So the cue can be time-based. It can just be at 3 o'clock, I eat an apple every day, something like that, something nice and small. But what that does is, that gives us some behaviors that are healthy, okay? It doesn't have to be an apple. It could be anything. We can talk about nutrition. We can talk about being more active, whatever it is, okay? I'm just using an apple right here. What this is, with the apple, it's a positive behavior, okay? And we have positive behavior, especially if we're aiming for something and it's a goal, okay? And we're accomplishing a goal, that starts to feel good. When it starts to feel good, we think more positive thoughts about ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong, these can get derailed. We've got years of core beliefs here that we're trying to undo. We're not going to undo it all in 1 month. We might even not undo it all in 1 year, okay? But we can slowly start to get there. Do you see how we're starting to change that? And the other thing is it might stop that negative spiral. Sometimes it's not about changing these core beliefs to be extremely positive overnight. Sometimes it might be just stopping the negative spiral, okay? It might be, you might think to yourself, I had that taco this evening. Don't feel that good about that. But actually, I did eat that apple, and I set the goal to eat an apple, and I did it, and I'm doing better, okay? And I'm just going to get better every day. Which leads us on to our next thing, which is focusing on just 1%. Hey, it's in the name. 1% improvements. And that's why I brought up the apple, okay? Because we're talking 1%, okay? Not 10%, not 20%, not 5%, 1%. What is the 1% improvement that you can make today that will create a positive behavior, that will create more positive thoughts, and create more positive feelings about yourself, okay? And again, when we've set this as our goal, when we know our goal is to improve just 1%, okay? That feels good. Well, feelings, that's what I was looking for. That feels good when we accomplish a goal, okay? Maybe for a while we've been walking 10 minutes every day. We walk for 11 minutes. I'm talking that small, okay? I'm talking that small. I'm talking one thing at a time. Just take things one step at a time. Well, I walked 11 minutes today. Nice, okay? We start to reinforce those. And what we get to, what we're working towards at the end of all this, okay, is that our behavior change is going to come from a change in core beliefs, okay? What starts to happen when you believe you're a healthy person? What starts to happen when you believe in your core, deep down inside, that you're an active person, okay? What starts to happen when you believe you have good nutrition? What happens when you start to believe that you're knowledgeable enough up here to have good nutrition, good exercise, and all these kind of stuff? Well, we start to think positive thoughts, think positive feelings, and exhibit positive behaviors, okay? And again, these are important, but when it comes to fat loss, obviously we're trying to influence those behaviors because that's what's going to lead to the fat loss. We're kind of living in the physical world now. We've got physical weight that we're trying to remove, okay? It's behaviors. It comes down to behaviors. So, I mean, that's kind of all I've got for you there. It's kind of, we can do these things. We've got the fake it till you make it kind of philosophy. We don't have to think and feel that we're a super healthy person. But what would a healthy person do? It's a great question to ask yourself, okay? You can go, someone's asked you to go to the pub. Well, what would a healthy person do in this scenario? The answer might be, well, a healthy person would probably go to the pub, but maybe they'll have a spirit and diet soft drink instead of a pint. Maybe they would just have tonic water, something like that. I don't know. Your answer is going to be personal to you. But sometimes just asking yourself that, what would a healthy, you don't have to believe that you're a healthy person, but you can ask yourself, what would a different healthy person do, okay? And I'm going to try and mimic that behavior. It's a little bit what would Jesus do, kind of stolen from there, but helpful nonetheless, okay? What would a healthy person do? What would an active person do? What would someone with good nutrition do, okay? That can help us get there. So kind of linking this back to before, just to kind of round this off, we were talking about motivation, okay? When we do all this, okay, and we're changing our beliefs, changing our behaviors, you don't need motivation, okay? You don't need motivation to be 1% better than yesterday, okay? 1% is so easy. That's the point. That's the point of it. We don't need motivation, okay? We don't need motivation to do these small habits consistently to 100%, okay? But it's about making these small changes, absolutely minuscule, okay? Habits, I recommend it again and again. James Clear's Atomic Habits. The reason they're atomic habits is because atoms are small, okay? They're small and powerful, okay? That's why he named the book that way. Atomic habits, small, they're the most powerful because we're going to be able to do them to a high level of consistency. Again, not 80%, 100%. That's how we reinforce behavior. That's how we create behavior change. If we can create behavior change, then we can change our thoughts and feelings, and we can change our core beliefs. That's it. Go out there, implement this in the real world. I hope that helps you feel more motivated. I hope that gives you a plan of action forward. I hope some of you are starting to believe out there that motivation is bullshit and there's no point focusing on it, okay? If you come across the thing that motivation is what's stopping you, change your thinking, okay? I want you to stop right there and go, okay, it's not motivation. I'm trying to do an hour in the gym every day. It's unrealistic. I wasn't doing that a month ago, okay? How do I make a 1% improvement versus yesterday instead of setting these high goals that require lots of motivation, okay? How can I remove motivation from the equation if that's what's stopping me? If it's stopping you, remove it from the equation. Get rid of it. Get rid of motivation. Stop it, okay? Go through this. Go through CBT, okay? And yeah, I hope that helps. That's the end of Ask Coach Cam for today. If you have any questions for next week, if you have any questions on this, just contact me on my social media, contact me on my website, www.the1percentway.com, okay? And don't forget to like and subscribe and you'll get more of these videos, you'll get notifications when they go up, all that kind of stuff. And lastly, I'm sorry that this one isn't quite live, okay? My bitrate just isn't good enough to upload it live, at least it wasn't today, okay? I'll try and fix this sort of going into next week. But yeah, I'll try and make sure it's live. It's nearly live, okay? Ask Coach Cam, nearly live. Maybe that's got a ring to it. But yeah, hope this helps. See you all next week. Goodbye.